Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, August 24th, 2026. Busy show today. MLB, WNBA, Soccer, Little League World Series, NFL Preseason, Golf, NASCAR, NFL tight end rankings on this day, news and notes, and best bet. Alright, so we'll start with Major League Baseball. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to tonight's games. And then there's not a lot of games tonight, by the way, because a lot of teams are off. Right, Friday night, Brewers over the Braves 2-1. Phils over the Cardinals 7, 6, and 10 on a walk-off triple by Alec Boehm. Yankees over the Blue Jays 3-1. Red Sox over the Giants 6-4. Marlins over the Nats 3-2. O's over the Rays 5-3. White Sox over the Mets 6-4. Astros over the A's 4-0. Royals over the Tigers 5-2. So best bet lost. Rangers over the Angels 2-1 and 10 on a walk-off infield single by Ezekiel Duran. Guardians over the Rockies 9-1. D-backs over the Reds 9-0. Padres over the Twins 6-2. Mariners over the Cubs 6-5 and 10 on a walk-off single by Leo Rivas. And the Dodgers over the Pirates 5-4 and 10 on a walk-off single by Tommy Edman. Saturday, Blue Jays over the Yankees 4-3. Brewers over the Braves 4-1. Marlins over the Nats 4-2. Phillies over the Cardinals 12-3. O's over the Rays 3-2 and 10 on a walk-off double by Dylan Beavers. Angels over the Rangers 3-0. A's over the Astros 4-3. Mets over the White Sox 10-5. Red Sox over the Giants 3-2. Royals over the Tigers 3-1. Mariners over the Cubs 5-4. Dodgers over the Pirates 4-3. Guardians over the Rockies 4-3. Reds over the D-backs 11-5. Padres over the Twins 7-5. And then yesterday, Phillies over the Cardinals 6-4 on a dramatic walk-off home run by Kyle Schwarber, as the Phillies scored 6 runs in the bottom of the ninth to come back and win that game. That was probably their win of the year. That's 9 in a row for the Phillies, too. That was incredible of a comeback. And a horrible loss for the St. Louis Cardinals. Rays over the O's 3-1. Yankees over the Jays 8-3. Marlins over the Nats 6-2. A's over the Astros 7-6. Royals over the Tigers 11-7. So they pull off the sweep. White Sox over the Mets 2-1. They win 2-3. Rangers over the Angels 5-3. Guardians over the Rockies 7-2. Red Sox over the Giants 5-4 as they complete the sweep. Cubs over the Mariners 19-2. That was an impressive win for the Cubs. And another horrible loss for the Mariners. They give up 22 to the Brewers, now 19 to the Cubs. Padres over the Twins 8-1. Dodgers over the Pirates 4-0 as they complete the sweep. D-backs over the Reds 5-3, and the Braves over the Brewers 4-2 in the Little League Classic. All right, not a lot of games tonight. 6:30, Red Sox Marlins from Miami. Ranger Suarez, Sandy Alcantara. Really sneaky good game. Sneaky good game. Red Sox -3, Marlins +120, over under 7.5, overs -1, unders -112. Red Sox -1.5, +126, Marlins +1.5, -152. I know this could be a Fenway South kind of game for the Red Sox, but I'm taking the Miami Marlins at +120. On Fox Sports 1, Rays Tigers. Drew Rasmussen, Framber Valdez. Tigers obviously coming off a sweep. That are being swept, I mean. Rays -138, Tigers +120, over under 7.5, overs -118, unders -104. Rays -1.5, +122, Tigers +1.5, -146, under. I don't like how the Rays offenses looked. 6:45, Rockies Nationals. Ryan Feltner and Cade Cavalli. Nationals -178, Rockies +164, over under 8.5, overs even money, unders -122. Rockies +1.5, -142, Nats -1.5, +118. I like the over at even money. 7:30, Rangers White Sox. Kuma Rocker and Jose Urquidy. White Sox -103, Rangers +110, over under 8.5, overs -102, unders -120. Rangers +1.5, -94, White Sox -1.5, +160. I like the over at -102. 9:30, Guardians Angels. Parker Messick and George Klassen. Guardians -164, Angels +138, over under 8, overs -108, unders -112. Guardians -1.5, even money. Angels +1.5, -120. I like the under, but I don't feel strong about it. Cubs Diamondbacks. Kevin Gausman and Merrill Kelly. Cubs -142, D-backs +120, over under 9, -120 each way. Cubs -1.5, +116, D-backs +1.5, -140. I like the over. Twins A's. Zebby Matthews and Jeffrey Springs. Twins -154, A's +130, over under 10.5, overs -115, unders -105. Twins -1.5, +102, A's +1.5, -122, over. Phillies Mariners. Phillies going for 10 in a row. Zach Wheeler and Logan Gilbert. Phillies -116, Mariners -102, over under 6.5, overs -114, unders -106. Phillies -1.5, +164, Mariners +1.5, -100. Sorry, I think it ends tonight. This is Vegas knows. My favorite sport to bet Vegas knows, as you guys know, are college hoops and college football. The NFL is good with Vegas knows as well, but I think this is an example of Vegas knows. Vegas knows the Phillies have won 9 straight. Vegas knows the Mariners had 2 horrible blowout losses. And why are the Phillies only -116? Give me Seattle at home, -102. As the Phillies winning streak comes to an end. Pirates Padres. Braxton Ashcraft and Robbie Ray. Pirates -112, Padres -104, over under 7.5, overs -115, overs -105. Pirates -1.5, +152, Padres +1.5, -184. I think the wrong team's favored. Give me the Padres -104. And last but not least, 9:45, Fox Sports 1, Reds Giants. Chase Burns and Carson Wisenhunt. Reds -154, Giants +130, over under 7. Overs -122, unders even money. Reds -1.5, +122, Giants +1.5, -146. I'm going to the run line with the Reds. Chase Burns is really good and is in contention. He won't win it, but he may finish top 5 at the NL Cy Young. He's the ace of that Red staff, especially now with Hunter Green going to be out again. He's the new ace of the Reds. So I'm going to lay the run line with the Reds. All right, so there you have it for baseball. Now move on to the WNBA. We'll go over the results from the weekend, look ahead to tonight. Friday, Lynx over to Mystics 94-84, Sky over to Valkyries 73-70, Tempo over to Fire 82-79. Saturday, Liberty over to Fever 109-102, Sparks over to Sun 77-68, Dream over to Mercury 99-89, and then yesterday, Wings over to Storm 92-70, Fever over to Sky 113-90, Mystics over to Fire 105-100, Aces over to Tempo 88-78. 2 games tonight, 8 o'clock on USA, the Valkyries and the Lynx. Fantastic game. Absolutely fantastic. The Lynx are giving 5.5, totals 159.5. I'm going to go with the over. I think that's a low total. And then 10 o'clock on Peacock and NBCSN is Dream Sparks. The Dream are giving 9.5, totals 181.5. I'm going to go with the under in that game. I think that is a high total. So there you have it for the W. Now we'll move on to soccer. We'll go over the results from the weekend and we'll look ahead to today. All right, Friday. EPL, Arsenal over Coventry City 3-0. La Liga, Real Betis over Real Sociedad 1-0. Women's League, San Diego over Utah 4-2. Liga MX, Leon over Monterrey 2-0. Tigres over Adelante 2-0. America over FC Juarez 2-1. Toluca over Querétaro 2-1. German Cup, Carl Loescher SC over Peruben Munster 2-1. Frankfurt over FC St. Thomas 11-0. I almost combined nothing and nil together. Kaiserslautern over SV Waldhof Mannheim 1-0 in additional extra time. And VfB Stuttgart over Hansa Rostock 4-0. French League 1, Marseille over Strasbourg 4-0. The Pro League, Al Nasser of Al Raida 4-0. Al Daira over Al Hazim 1-0. Al Ittihad over Al Qiddiash 1-0. And Neom SC over Al Faisaly 2-0. Super League, DC Power over Brooklyn 4-1. And then Saturday, Premier League, Hull City over Man United 2-0. Everton over Crystal Palace 2-0. Ipswich over Sunderland 2-1. Leeds over Nottingham 1-0. Brentford over Tottenham 3-0. La Liga, Sevilla over Athletic Club 3-1. Valencia, Celta Vigo 0-0 draw. And Real Madrid over Espanyol 2-1. MLS, Montreal Galaxy 2-2 draw. Charlotte over DC 3-1. Cincy, Seattle 1-1 draw. Toronto over Miami 2-1. Orlando over Salt Lake 2-1. Red Bulls Chicago 1-1 draw. Nashville over Columbus 3-2. St. Louis over Houston 2-1. Austin Philly 1-1 draw. Vancouver over Dallas 5-0. LAFC Portland 1-1 draw. San Diego over Colorado 3-0 and Minnesota over San Jose 5-1. Women's League, KC Seattle 1-1 draw. North Carolina over Boston 2-1. Portland over Denver 1-0. Liga MX Guadalajara over Tijuana 5-2. Puebla over Santos 3-2. Atlas over Cruz Azul 2-0. German Cup, FC Augsburg over Energy Cottbus 2-0. Bayer Leverkusen over SV Wiesbaden 4-0. Hoffenheim over FC Erzberg Aue 4-0. Hanover 96 over Hemmelingen 9-1. Werder Bremen over Lundenberger SK Hansa 3-0. SV Elversberg over MSV Duisburg 3-1. Saarbrücken Hertha Berlin 1-1 draw. Hertha Berlin wins 4-2 on penalties. Victoria Köln FC Nuremberg 1-1 draw. FC Nuremberg wins 5-4 on penalties. RP Leipzig over Eintracht Trier 6-0. SG Sonnhof Grupsbach and then Arminia Bielefeld 2-2 draw. SG Sonnhof wins 3-0 on penalties. Holstein Kiel over TSV 1860 Munich 2-0. Syria, Inter over Monza 4-1. Udinese Como 1-1 draw. Napoli over Genoa 2-0. Cagliari over Parma 1-0. French League 1, Lens over AJ Auxerre 5-2. Le Mans Brest 2-2 draw. Nice Lorient 2-2 or 0-0 draw. Lyon over Toulouse 2-0. Troyes Paris FC 0-0 draw. German Super Cup, Bayern Munich over Borussia Dortmund 2-1. ELC, Birmingham, Bristol City 2-2 draw. Portsmouth over Lincoln City 3-1. Millwall over Norwich City 3-0. Blackburn over Middlesbrough 2-1. Derby County, Cardiff City 2-2 draw. Wolverhampton over Preston North End 3-1. Queen's Park, Bolton 0-0 draw. Southampton over Stoke City 3-1. Swansea City, Sheffield United 0-0 draw. Charlton Athletic over West Ham 2-1. Wrexham, Watford 1-1 draw. Dutch Eredivisie, AC Alkmaar over Fortuna Sittard 2-0. Sparta and FC Utrecht 3-3 draw. NEC Nijmegen X Lazio was postponed. And PSV Zwolle over Heerenveen 2-0. The Pro League, Al Ettifaq over Fateh 1-0. Al Khalid over Al Toon 3-2. Al Ali over Abba 4-0. And Al Khalij over Al Shabab. I'm sorry, that was a 0-0 draw. Scottish Premiership, Rangers, St. Mirren, and St. Johnstone Celtic both postponed. And Dundee over Dundee United 2-0. All right, Sunday. EPL. Brighton Hove over Aston Villa 4-0. Man City over AFC Bournemouth 2-1. Newcastle Liverpool 2-2 draw. La Liga. Atletico Madrid Villarreal 2-2 draw. Getafe over Racing Santander 1-0. Barcelona over Elche 5-0. MLS NYCFC New England 1-1 draw. Atlanta over KC 2-1. Women's League Chicago over Louisville 3-2. Orlando over Washington 1-0. BFC over Houston 1-0. Angel City Gotham 0-0 draw. Liga MX Atletico de San Luis and Pachuca 1-1 draw. And Unam Necaxa 1-1 draw. German Cup VfL Bochum over SVGG 2-1. SSV Jettel over FC Heidenheim 5-2. FC Magdeburg over Bollinger SC 4-0. SV Darmstadt over FC Karl Zeiss 2-1. Magdeburg over Scott 5-0. FC Union Berlin over TSV Eintracht 4-2. Mainz over VfB Kraichgau 9-0. Dynamo Dresden over Westphalia Rheinland 6-0. SC Paderborn 07 over FC Phoenix Lübeck 4-2. SC Freiburg over Fortuna Dusseldorf 5-1. And Rot-Weiss Essen over St. Pauli 2-0. Serie A Juventus over Frosinone 1-0. Lecce over Venezia 2-0. Atalanta over Sassuolo 2-1. And AC Milan over Torino 2-1. French League 1, Lille over Angers 2-0. AS Monaco over Le Havre AC 1-0. And PSG Stade Rennais 2-2 draw. ELC West Brom over Burnley 3-1. Dutch Eredivisie Go Eagles over ADO Den Haag 3-1. PSV Eindhoven over FC Groningen 5-1. Feyenoord over SC Camberg 5-2. All right, today. 3 o'clock, USA Network, EPL, Fulham and Chelsea. Chelsea minus 110, Fulham plus 290, draw plus 270. I think this is easy. I'm going to go with Chelsea at minus 110. All right, La Liga 130. Osasuna Levante. Osasuna minus 115, Levante plus 350, draw plus 250. I'm going with Osasuna minus 115. And 330, Malaga and Deportivo. Malaga plus 135, Deportivo plus 240, draw plus 195. I'm going to go with Malaga plus 135. All right, next is the German Cup. So at noon we have SC Verl 1924 and Hamburg SV. Hamburger minus 270. Verl is 5-1. The draw is plus 420. I'm going to go with over 3.5 goals, even money. VSG Auckland K and VfL Wolfsburg. I'm just trying to pull it up. VSG is 12-1. Wolfsburg's minus 800. The draw is 7-1. I'm going under 3.5 goals plus 116. Wurzburger Kickers and FC Cologne. Cologne minus 350. Wurzburger 7-1. The draw is plus 490. I'm going to go over 3.5 goals plus 112. Last but not least, 245. Hallscher FC and Schalke 04. Schalke minus 425. Hallscher 8-1. The draw is plus 490. I'm going to go under 3.5 goals again and plus 116. Serie A 12:30. You have Bologna and Lazio. Bologna is plus 130. Lazio plus 250. The draw is 2-1. Bologna plus 130. And 245 AS Roma and Fiorentina. Roma minus 140. Fiorentina is 4-1. The draw is plus 270. I'm going to go with over 2.5 goals at minus 110. All right, the Pro League. Um, 12:40 Neon Messi and El Kadiash. I'm going to go under 3.5. And then Al Idiot and Al Hazima 2. I'm going to go under 3.5 for that as well. USL at 7 o'clock is Charleston, Miami. No lineup for that. The Dutch Kuken Kampion Divisie, Jong FC Utrecht, and Hercules Alamo, and Jong PSV and Top Us. And that's really it. And we have NCAA soccer starting too. but we don't talk about college soccer on the podcast unless that becomes a thing for us. So there you have it for soccer. Now I'll move on to the Little League World Series. We'll go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to today. Friday, it was a big day because Thursday was rained out. Opening round, Henderson, Nevada over Hamilton, Ohio, 6-5. Tijuana, Mexico over Sydney, Australia, 7-1. Willemstad, Curacao over Tokyo, Japan, 6-0. Davenport, Iowa over Bonita, California, 1-0. Double elimination, Leon Nicaragua over Turkey, Panama, 6-4. Double elimination, Tacoma, Washington over Bourne, Texas, 4-3. Double elimination, Seoul, Korea over Brno, Czech Republic, 5-0. And double elimination, Bayonne, New Jersey over Westchester, Pennsylvania, 3-1. Saturday we had 4 elimination games. Vancouver, Canada over Sydney, Australia, 4-0. Hamilton, Ohio over Bridgewater, Massachusetts, 10-0. It was a mercy rule game. Tokyo, Japan over Santiago, Dominican Republic, 10-1. And Phoenix City, Alabama over Bonita, California, 12-2. In Fort Exile was a mercy rule game. And then yesterday, double elimination, Henderson, Nevada over Tacoma, Washington, 5-0. Leon, Nicaragua over Tijuana, Mexico, 8-4. Davenport, Iowa over Bayonne, New Jersey, 6-0. That Davenport team, I think, is the team to beat. They have a couple of Otanis on their team. They are the team to beat. And in Willemstad, Curacao over Seoul, Korea, 1-0. All right, 4 elimination games today, 1 o'clock on ESPN. Turkey, Panama, and Vancouver, Canada. I think Vancouver bounces back and wins. 3 o'clock ESPN elimination game, Hamilton, Ohio, and Bourne, Texas. I'm going to say Ohio wins that. 5 o'clock ESPN, Brno, Czech Republic, and Tokyo, Japan. That's a Japan special right there. And 7 o'clock ESPN, Westchester, Pennsylvania, and Phoenix City, Alabama. I'm going to say Phoenix City wins that. All right, so there you have it for the League World Series. Now we'll move on to the NFL preseason. We'll go over the results from the weekend. Friday, Jets over the Steelers, 17-0. Panthers over the Jaguars, 34-17. And the Packers over the Broncos, 33-13. Saturday, Lions over Commanders, 17-13. Ravens over the Vikings, 13-3. Bills over the Browns, 31-7. Falcons over the Colts, 34-6. Giants over the Dolphins, 26-3. Rams over the Saints, 34-0. Bengals over the Bears, 27-9. Patriots over the Eagles, 24-21. Bucks over the Chiefs, 16-15. Cowboys over the Cardinals, 34-13. I know Carson Beck didn't play there. And then Sunday, the Titans come back and beat the Seahawks, 19-16. So things that jumped out to me, for some reason, Jackson Dart didn't play on Saturday against the Dolphins, and he played the other day against Minnesota for a couple of drives. Maybe they're just resting Dart. And it looks like and Carson Wentz and J.J. McCarthy played for Minnesota, and Kyler Murray didn't play for the Vikings. So I guess it's a trend that a lot of the starters didn't play this week. It's different. We saw Kyle Allen for the Bills and not Josh Allen. That Falcons one was pretty impressive. It looks like Michael Penix, or no, neither of them played. It was Cooper Rush and Jack Strand. And then the Rams, it was probably Stetson Bennett. And then Saints was Rattler and Wilson. And then Bennett and Simpson for Rams. But yeah, like we did not see any of the regular starting quarterbacks. Oh, Caleb Williams, 2 for 5, 28 yards. So he's the only regular quarterback I don't think Dak played. Yeah, Joe Milton, who's notorious for lighting it up in the preseason. And then Garrett Nusheimer played for the Chiefs, and Justin Fields, and of course Kuhn, who started for them last year. Baker, 2 for 4, 10 yards. So we saw a little bit of Baker Mayfield. We did not see Drake May. I mean, obviously we did not see Jalen Hurts. We saw Tanner McKee and Andy Dalton. So yeah, a lot of the regular quarterbacks weren't there. It was a lot of and the only regulars we saw were really Caleb Williams and Baker. And we didn't see Kirk Cousins. We saw Mendoza, though. Did we see Brock Purdy? Niners put up a lot of points, but then again, that could have been, Mac Jones. Oh, we did see Brock Purdy the other day, and Justin Herbert. He was only 1 for 2 for 9 yards. Yeah, we did see some, but a lot of teams that played their starters the first time, they didn't play, like Kyler Murray and Jackson Dart, for instance. And we didn't see Sam Darnold or Cam Ward we saw for a little bit. But we did not obviously see Sam Darnold. It was Drew Lock and Jalen Milroe. Alright, so there you have it for NFL preseason. So over the weekend we had the BMW Championship for golf. And your winner with a score of 17 under was Mr. Wyndham Clark. Coming in second with 14 under, Patrick Cantlay. Third with 13 under, Rory McIlroy. Tied for fourth, 12 under, Colin Morikawa, Chris Gotterup, Gary Woodland. Tied for seventh, 10 under, Robert McIntyre, Matt McNeely. Ninth with 9 under, Jacob Bridgman. Tied for 10th with 8 under, Michael Brennan. Sanjay M. Tied for 12th with 7 under, Scotty Scheffler, H.K. Bahita, Russell Henley, Rio Satune. Scotty's first bad day, if he didn't have that awful first day, he either wins or comes damn close. Probably would have been tied with Rory McIlroy. Tied for 16th with 6 under, Alex Molly, Adam Scott, Aaron Ray, Lovey Gayberg, Ryan Gerard, Justin Thomas. Tied for 22nd with 5 under, J.T. Potson, Justin Rose, Christopher Tane, J.J. Spawn. Tied for 26th with 4 under, Kurt Katayama and Xander Schauffele. Tied for 28th with 3 under, Hideki Matsuyama, Tom Kim, Sam Burns, Matt Fitzpatrick, Eric Cole. Tied for 33rd, 2 under, Saiwoo Kim, Matt McCarty, Sub Straka. Victor Hovland tied for 31st or 37th with 1 under, Ricky Fowler, Michael Jordan, Alex Noren, Cam Young. Tied for 41st at even, Jake Knapp, Steve Thiglia, Nikolai Hojard. Tied for 44th with 1 over, Bud Cauley, Ben Griffin, Alex Fitzpatrick. Tied for 47th with 2 over, Tommy Fleetwood, Minwoo Lee, Ryan Fox, and 50th with 5 overs, Nico Echeverria. So there you have it for golf. Now we'll move on to NASCAR. We'll go over the results from the weekend. We'll start with the Truck Series from New Hampshire on Saturday afternoon. Your winner was Lane Riggs, coming in second. Chandler Smith, third. Caden Honeycutt, fourth. Stuart Friesen, fifth. Connor Zilch, sixth. Tristan McKee, seventh. Chris Bell, eighth. Daniel Hemrick, ninth. Justin Haley, 10th. Parker Eatman, the rest. Ty Majeski, Michael Christopher, Grant Effinger, Jake Garcia, Corey LaJoy, Tyler Ankrum, Cole Butcher, Ben Rhodes, John Hunter Nemechek, Brendan Queen, Tanner Gay, Connor Hall, Meanie Tyrell, Colin Braun, Dawson Sutton, Gio Ruggiero, Andres Perez de Lara, Christian X, Timmy Hill, Connor Mosak, Luke Baldwin, Landon Lewis, Gavin Bushell, Chris Wright, Parker Emmerling, and Spencer Boyd. And then the Cup Series from yesterday. Your winner, Ryan Blaney. Second, Bubba Wallace. Third, Josh Berry. Fourth, Chris Bell. Fifth, Kyle Larson. Sixth, Ty Gibbs. Seventh, Joe Hemrick. My pick to win the race came in eighth. That was Tyler Riddick. Ninth, Ryan Preece. 10th, Noah Gragson. The rest, Brad Keselowski, Austin Cindric, Zane Smith, Joey Logano, Alex Bowman, Michael McDowell, Daniel Suarez, Chris Butcher, Carson Osvar, Shane Van Gisbergen, Todd Gilliland, Cole Custer, Angie Allmendinger, Austin Hill, Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Ty Dillon, Ricky Stennis Jr., Cody Ware, William Byron, John Anthony Michak, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Riley Herbst, Connor Zolch, and Ross Chastain. All right, next weekend, no truck next week. No truck until September 17th, so it's a Cup and no apps next weekend from Daytona. So there you have it for NASCAR. Now we'll do NFL tight end rankings. I do the top 2 tight ends on everybody's depth chart. And then sometimes these can get sketchy with like players getting waived and whatnot. I just had to check one thing. Okay, good. I was making sure that the tight end that we're going to talk about in news and notes in a little bit that was on the Browns didn't make the list, and he's not. All right, so without further ado, here we go. 64, Nate Borkirker, Jaguars. 63, Eli Raridan, Patriots. 62, Will Kaczmarek, Dolphins. 61, Charlie Warner, Falcons. 60 through 51, Blake Whiteheart, Browns. Brevin Spanford, Cowboys. Greg Dulrich, Dolphins. Durham Smythe, Ravens. Payne Durham, Bucks. Josh Riley, Packers. Charlie Kolar, Chargers. John Bates, Commanders. Elijah Higgins, Cardinals. And Johnny Munt, Eagles. 50 through 41, Eric Saubert, Seahawks. Jake Tongs, 49ers. Josh Oliver, Vikings. Brock Wright, Lions. Kenyon Sadiq, Jets. Mason Taylor, Jets. Drew Sample, Bengals. Michael Meyer, Raiders. Daniel Bellinger, Titans. Darnell Washington, Steelers. 40 through 31, Dawson Knox, Bills. Tommy Tremble, Panthers. Adam Schrottman, Broncos. Foster Moreau, Texans. Noah Gray, Chiefs. Theo Johnson, Giants. Darren Waller, Panthers. Cole Kmet, Bears. Chigaconco, Commanders. And Gunnar Helm, Titans. 30 through 21, Mo Ali Cox, Colts. Noah Fant, Saints. Mike Gesicki, Bengals. Isaiah Likely, Giants. Pat Freiermuth, Steelers. A.J. Barner, Seahawks. Colby Parkinson, Rams. Brenton Strange, Jaguars. Harold Fannin Jr., Browns. And Evan Ingram, Broncos. 20 through 11, Jake Ferguson, Cowboys. Jawan Johnson, Saints. Cade Otton, Buccaneers. Tyler Higbee, Rams. Oronde Gadsden, Chargers. Dalton Schultz, Texans. Hunter Henry, Patriots. Dalton Kincaid, Bills. TJ Hawkinson, Vikings. Kyle Pitts, Falcons. And your top 10. Number 10, Colston Loveland, Bears, who I think is going to make a really big leap this year into a possibly tight top 5 tight end. 9, Travis Kelce, Chiefs. I think this is a player in decline, and I think he is dealing with other stuff other than football. Just got married. Yeah, I think he's distracted. 8, Mark Andrews, Ravens. I love Mark Andrews. Some might say that he's not the same, but I think he's in for a big year. 7, Sam Laporta, Lions. All right, we're loaded in tight end right now, and Sam Laporta, you could argue, should be higher. 6, Tucker Kraft, Packers. Maybe I'm overrating him a little bit based on how good he was before he got injured last year. 5, Tyler Warren, Colts. His presence really helped Daniel Jones into having the career year he had with the Colts last year. 4, Dallas Goedert, Eagles. Dallas Goedert's a stud, and he has to be big for the Eagles this year with A.J. Brown gone. 3, George Kittle, 49ers. I know a lot of people say that's too high, he's always injured. But he still produces. Travis Kelce just isn't the same anymore. 2, Trey McBride, Arizona Cardinals. He really was a fantasy darling last year. I think we'll learn a lot about Kyler Murray, but I do think he has the right support system around him in Minnesota. But McBride really took off this past year. And number one, tight end, going into the season. Brock Bowers of the Las Vegas Raiders. If there wasn't any doubt, the Raider offense without him is easily the worst in football. Brock Bowers is a stud. He'll be a big factor in the development of Fernando Mendoza. He might even make Kirk Cousins look relevant, like how Kyle Pitts and the receivers on the Falcons made him, and Bijan made him look relevant. I think the same thing could happen with Kirk Cousins with Bowers. And Bowers is going to be around a while. I know tight ends don't last a long time, but I think Bowers will last a while, and so will McBride. All right, so there you have it for the tight end rankings. Tomorrow is going to be the offensive tackle rankings. Next up is On This Day, brought to you by All Sports News. We'll do Saturday, Sunday, Monday. All right, on this day, August 22nd, this was Saturdays. 2017, the Celtics acquire Kyrie Irving. 2021, Miguel Cabrera hits 500th career home run. 2024, Mariners fire Scott Servais. 2018, Urban Meyer suspended 3 games. 2023, White Sox fire GM Rick Hahn. 2012, Bartolo Colon suspended 50 games. 2021, Orioles lose 18th consecutive game. Kind of don't remember that. 2023, Buccaneers name Baker Mayfield starting quarterback. 2020, Nick Nurse named NBA Coach of the Year. 2024, Mariners hire Dan Wilson. 2022, Panthers named Baker Mayfield starting quarterback. So Baker Mayfield's in the news back-to-back years here. In 2023, the Yankees lose longest streak since 1982. So I guess it's their longest losing streak since 1982. I kind of remember them having a long losing streak. And I think Judge was back by then. And I remember the game after they snapped the streak, Judge had a 3-homer game. August 23rd, which was yesterday. 2023, Shohei Ohtani suffers torn UCL. 2020, Ravens release Earl Thomas. And Luka Doncic buzzer beater even series against the Clippers in the bubble. That was awesome. The Luka buzzer beater. And the Celtics sweep the 76ers in the first round. 2015, Jordy Nelson tears his ACL with the Packers. That was a brutal blow for them. They didn't win the division that year. They probably win the division that year if he doesn't get hurt. Because I think the Vikings and Teddy Bridgewater won the division that year. And then they lost a home playoff game. Cheap shot field goal would have won it, and they lost to the Seahawks. 2023, Maple Leafs extend Austin Matthews. 2020, Capitals fired Todd Reirden. He was a bad coach. And the Raptors sweep the Nets in the first round. That was the KD Kyrie. Or no, that was pre-KD Kyrie. That was oh wait, Kyrie was on the team, but KD didn't play. Walker Buehler to undergo Tommy John surgery in 2022. 2019, Lakers signed Dwight Howard. 2024, Zach Wheeler out 6 to 8 months. And 2017, Corey Davis abruptly retires from the NFL. I thought that was after 2017. Oh, 2023. I was just going to say that was definitely after 2017. Just looking at the comments. So there you have it for On This Day. Actually, no, that's a lie. August 24th for today. That's it for Sunday. So today. 2019, Andrew Luck retires. That was shocking. That sent shockwaves around the sports world. I think that was the biggest shock in sports until the Luka trade. 2020, 76ers fire Brett Brown. 2014, Sam Bradford re-tears his ACL. 2023, Steven Strasburg retiring. 2025, Cal Raleigh breaks single season home run record. For a catcher. 2015, Texans named Brian Hoyer starting quarterback. 2017, Tigers, Yankees engage in major brawls. Oh, I remember that. That was in Detroit. I think Gary Sanchez was involved. That was crazy. 2015, Patriots signed Reggie Wayne. Wow, Reggie Wayne was on New England? I don't remember that. 2021, Aroldis Chapman reaches 300 saves for his career. 2012, Adrian Beltre hits for the cycle. 2022, Len Dawson passes away. In 2017, Michael Conforto dislocates shoulder on swing. All right, so there you have it for this day officially. Now move on to news and notes. Just coming down right now from jobs, literally right now. Shaden Sharp sustained a torn meniscus in his knee and expected to miss 6 months. That is a brutal blow for the Portland Trailblazers for 2026-27. They were definitely relying on him to be a big part of their team. Ryan Day opened the college football returns as he calls situation frustrating but doesn't rule out Ohio State taking part. Aaron Philo got named the Gators starting quarterback against FAU. So LSU pulled off the recruit. Daquan Wright will become the first NFL player to go back to college if he clears waivers. And Lane says that Wright should not be criticized. And then Tennessee's naming Fazion Brandon their starting quarterback. He beat out George McIntyre. John Harbaugh says that Malik Neighbors could shed a non-contact jersey this week. So that's a step in the right direction. Kayshon Boutte gets traded to the Texans for safety Jalen Reed and a draft pick. So the Patriots were sneaky deep at receiver. So I think they were able to afford to trade one of them. And I do think that there's a much needed pickup for Houston with Jaden Higgins getting hurt. And the draft pick going to New England is their 2028 7th rounder. I think that's a great trade for Houston. Joey Porter Jr. and the Steelers are at it in pause as Mike McCarthy says the sides have not progressed in talks to extend. And guess who's the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns? Deshaun Watson. And I'm not surprised at all. Jordan Schultz of Bleacher Report says the experience gives Watson the nod over second-year quarterback Shader Sanders, who sucks. And I honestly think there was pressure because of the money and the dead cap hit. And maybe they're trying to tank for Arch Manning. The Pats EVP says that they want Christian Gonzalez as the team talks about their desire to keep Gonzalez amid contract talks. Shader Sanders says he's not losing sleep over losing the job. But the Watson deal as a poison pill is the Browns would face a historic dead cap hit if they cut him. And Deshaun Watson apologized for remarks as he said emotions took over after slamming fans for booing him. And then Shader supposedly handled it well, according to Tom Munkin. And another trade happened over the weekend. The Saints sent linebacker Deion Jones to the 49ers for running back Zamir White. I think that's a depth trade for both sides. Mike Vrabel says, I saw dog shit defense, and why he called out to talk to the Patriots defense. DeWanna Bonner got bought out by the Phoenix Mercury as they're giving her an opportunity to chase the title where she'll end up. The Mystics clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2023 after the Sky lost to the Fever. Brittany Sykes and Anisha Morrow, foot and knee respectively, will be out for the rest of the year for the Tempo. Dana Brown's contract was set to expire after the year, but the team parted ways with him. We'll see who they end up hiring. But yeah, they've had some front office turmoil. The Steelers to keep Drew Aller and Howard on their roster, as they're going to have 4 quarterbacks on their roster. Which is crazy. So they'll keep Will Howard and Drew Aller. Ennis Cantor freed him ejected from Fever Sky game after he was confronted by Sky's Natasha Cloud. You don't have to get into that. So Klay Thompson to the Heat on a 2-year deal with the player option, as the Heat have 2 open roster spots. Klay's deal starts at $5.6 million, which leaves Miami room to add vet minimum players. 49ers owner Jed York pleads no contest to 2 misdemeanor charges in Ohio. Yikes. And Shader is QB2, by the way. Harrison Butker of the Chiefs' 69-yard preseason field goal would have set the record if that was a regular season game. The league and the Players Association meeting regularly with Rob Manfred, as he's confident deal will be made amid CBA talks. That is a step in the right direction. Now I sound like one of those talking heads for ESPN, but it's true. Let's go to their meeting regularly, and maybe this lockout won't happen. Ohtani could start on Sunday as they can consider having Shohei throw an inning against the Tigers. Bud Clark will be out multiple months with a broken ankle. That's brutal for Seattle. A'Shawn Genti avoids major injury as he's believed to have suffered a sprained ankle at practice. Oh, I'm sorry. Titans, Bud Clark. It was against the Seahawks. I read that wrong. But yeah, Genti couldn't put any pressure on leg after collision with a teammate at practice. Christian McCaffrey says plan was to stay fresh for 2026 season as he was back at practice. And more good news for the 49ers. George Kittle activated from the PUP as he set to return to practice after recovering from an Achilles tear. Tyler Baez out for the year with the knee injury. That's brutal for the Chargers. And Alex Wright of the Browns is out for the year as he ruptured his Achilles on Thursday. And Derek Barnett to Cleveland on a 1-year, $5.5 million deal. Ja'Kinden Jackson has strength and movement in all extremities after leaving in an ambulance against the Patriots. He was injured on the opening kickoff. 49ers rookie wide receiver Dazon Stribling day-to-day with the shoulder injury. Bad news for Missouri. Ahmad Hardy out to start the season. He still hasn't practiced and is still recovering from the gunshot wound. Brendan Donovan on the IL after a pitch hit his head in batting cages. That's not cool for Seattle. Casey Mize exited in the 3rd inning with the right ankle sprain. Tyler Glass now to start on Tuesday for the first time since May 6th. Another NFL commit to LSU, defensive lineman Xavier Harris to LSU after a stint with the Saints. Josh Hart jokes about the layup that he missed late in Game 4. A lot of weird stuff happened in that game. And then Mark Mitchell chooses Kentucky, former Mizzou star and two-time All-SEC forward, commits to Kentucky. And then Darko Rajkovic with the probably the dumbest comment I've heard in a while. He says that Scotty is my MJ. What? Like, he's like, that's the dumbest. Like, he could be your MJ, but he ain't MJ. Don't put someone in the same sentence as MJ. And there you have it for news and notes. Best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. I don't think I won a single best bet last week. Let's hope to turn it around this week. And all right, the right team's favored finally in Pirates Padres, which is good. But I'm going to go to a game I do like on the run line. That's the Reds -1.5 against the Giants with Chase Burns on the bump. So there you have it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, look at everything tomorrow as well. And we'll do offensive tackle rankings and a pick for the portfolio. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, everyone.